Nice, interesting. Bringing back memories. As you know, we have consultants at the PhD level doing research in schoolwork. I mean, consultants like PhD in psychology, PhD in education. These people come out and pre-test a whole school or a class, and then we come in and do the training for them, and then they post-test them and the results. We have printed out results. If any professional educator is listening now and would like to have some of this, they can always come into the office or write to us, and we'll send you some of the real reports as to what happened in several schools and high schools and universities, and what tremendous results we've gotten. It's interesting to know that, or to become aware, that it is said that people go to school to learn. And to learn means you must retain information. You must remember what you've studied. That's learning. And to retain information, how much do you retain after you finish college? Why do you use the textbooks? Is it because you forgot almost everything? You have to go back to the textbooks to recall that formula and the step-by-step procedures and so on. That means that memory has not been very effective here. But then you wonder sometimes, if schools are there to teach us, then why is it that we don't have memory courses to be taught in schools also? That would be the first thing to do. Train the kids to retain information better. Teach children, even at the kindergarten level or the first and second grades and so on, memory courses, because they have a whole lifetime or half of their life to be spent in schools, and they must retain information to get better grades. You wonder why schools then do not teach memory courses. There are memory courses in the field, but they're independent. They're private. You can take any memory course you want, but actually it's interesting that we should have them in schools to begin with, to teach a student how to remember first before teaching them what to learn. You need to learn, you see. And in order to learn, you must remember what you've learned, and so on. So regardless, we're criticizing schools because they do not teach memory courses. They should be taught in the public schools before trying to teach anything else. So we know that memory courses work. There's no question about it. Now, why do they work? Because we say that a word, for instance, words don't mean very much, you know. We forget words, but if you convert words into mental pictures, chances are you will remember a mental picture better than the word. Now, if you have converted a word into a mental picture and giving it color and action, well, that's even better. You recall it a lot better. It's more strongly impressed on your brain cells. Now, if you convert a word into a mental picture and give it color and action and make it ridiculous, way out, you know, that you could even, well, even then you would remember it even better. So what you want to do then is that when you're reading or listening to people, try and convert words into mental pictures and make a mental movie of what you're listening. Give it action. And you'll be surprised as to how much you can remember. When a person is talking to you, or when you're reading a book or a lesson, do convert every word that you can convert into a mental picture, give it action and color, and make a mental movie of all those words. You're going to be able to remember, to be able to explain what you read, because you retained it a lot better. You gave it mental pictures, you gave it color, you gave it action, and you made a movie of what you're actually reading, not just remembering so many words. Now that is to be done, especially when you have learned to go to alpha. Now that is the biggest discovery right now. That when measuring brain waves, remember we mentioned that your brain prefers to function more than on any other frequency on 5, 10, and 20 vibrations per second. Well, we made a study of how strong is 5, how stable is it, how synchronized, how orderly, then the 10, then the 20, and to find out that 90% learn on 20, and it's the weakest, the least energetic frequency of the brain, and the most desynchronized, the most unstable frequency of the brain. And this is where 90% of humanity does their learning. It's a wonder if they retain anything. So now people who are learning to slow down the brain waves to the center, which is 10, is the strongest, the most energetic, the most synchronized and stable frequency of the brain. They retain information better and better recallability. So this is for memory, and this is what you need to have to pass tests and to be able to get good grades in school, or else you're not going to get good grades in school. Now, what do you need to get good grades in school? Besides learning to function on 10 cycles, you need to use your three-finger technique to be able to calm yourself, because sometimes a student gets excited at test time. He may have gotten very high grades throughout the school year, but come test time, he blanks out. I mean, completely blanks out, and that ruins the whole thing. He's not going to get a good average, because when he should have gotten a good average at test time, at finals, I mean, he blanks out. He's so tense, and they call it nervousness, so tense and full of anxiety that he blanks out. So if the individual has learned to function at alpha, and he knows about the three-finger technique, he can program himself with the three-finger technique. They come test time, all he needs to do to get cleared and clean off this anxiety thing of blanking out is to use the three-finger technique, take a deep breath and relax, and he will become more comfortably and in good memory, in good mind, good stable and calm, that he will remember everything he needs to get high grades. But he must break that panic function, that panic attack, and he can do it by pre-programming himself before test time with the three-finger technique, and having learned to be at alpha, that will do it right there.